Coming up on this episode of the Curt podcast, I continue my coverage of Lions training camp and give you some injury report updates. And I also look at why Jared Goff may be right about the possibility of Amon-Ra St. having a huge season for the Lions in 2023. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's time to start the show. What up, though? And welcome to the Curt podcast, your trusted source for Detroit Lions news and rumors. I'm your man, Curt. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with fellow Lions fans just like yourself. Today is Monday, July 31st, 2023, and shout out to my man, Herman Moore, and my family over at Lions Nation Unite. So let's get after it, man. First, let's look at what's going on the injury front. C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Jameson Williams returned to practice on Sunday in limited roles, and it was really a glorified walkthrough on Sunday. Big V is still out with that back injury. Team's kind of being cautious with the big fella, easing him back in. It's not considered to be serious at this moment, but we'll keep an eye on that thing. The biggest injury news at the moment is that my guy, Penei Sewell, is out right now because he's in concussion protocol. Now, he's not eligible to return until Wednesday at the earliest, but we'll keep an eye on that. It's not the first time he's been out with a concussion, so hope it's not a lingering issue. Tom Kennedy cleared waivers and reverted to the injury list for the Lions, and he was actually at practice on Sunday, had his arm in a sling, so hopefully everything goes right with Tom, and, he's a staple in Detroit. Long-time practice squad player, finally earned a spot on the roster last year. So heal up, Tom. Maybe the lacrosse play will be back on the field in the Honolulu blue and silver for the upcoming season. Marvin Jones continues to work with the trainers on the side, but he's still on the non-football injury list. And we talked about Sunday's practice. Sunday practice was a short jog-through session, lasted under an hour. But, you had to get him out there. Dan Campbell said in his opening press conference that wanted to tone it down on Sunday because they went hard 2 days in a row. But there was a special appearance, by OG owner Martha Firestone Ford. It's her first appearance in training camp this year. Now, when they saw her out on the field, the offense called a special audible. Martha. When Jared Goff snapped the ball, handed the ball to David Montgomery, but man ran it up the field just a little bit, and then he turned to the sidelines and went to present the ball to the former principal owner of the Lions, Martha Firestone Ford. Now, some people on social media like, man, why would you bring her up? She wasn't that, but she's still part of the ownership group. Martha Firestone Ford is a trailblazer in the NFL, being one of the few female principal owners at the time, and her daughter Sheila is definitely keeping that trend going. A few rookies are standing out doing the practices so far. My man Broderick Martin causing some havoc on that D line. Brian Branch has just been standing out. They got, like Dan Campbell said, he's a football playing dude. Now, a couple of other members of the secondary, the young players, standing out is undrafted free agents Starling Thomas, and Stephen Gilmore. Now, they've made some big plays in the secondary. If the name Gilmore sounds familiar, is that his big brother is Stephon Gilmore. So shout out to the young fella Gilmore and Thomas for making some good plays and standing out in that secondary. Now, Captain Jack's finally making some plays, man. He's coming around. He's getting in that playbook, becoming more familiar with what's going on. On Friday, my man stripped Craig Reynolds after he caught a curl pass, and then Campbell hustled up the field and recovered the fumble. So you look at what's going on. We already know Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta are getting a lot of run with the ones, but you got some other rookies out there making some plays and standing out in padded practices. Now, Dan Campbell said in his Sunday pre-practice presser that he doesn't feel like the Lions have made any mistakes in their draft selections the past couple of seasons, but especially this season. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video, man, in the comment section, and I will get back with you as soon as I can. But for more content from your man, Curt Steele, head over to curtsteele.com. You can find links to my articles on Sideline Report and Yard Barker right there on my homepage. Get yourself some Curt Steele gear. You see the Boss Up shirt I'm rocking right now. So go over there and get yourself some Curt Steele gear at curtsteele.com. The link is on the homepage, and it takes you over to the shop over there at LNU where my gear is sold. Now, in a recent press conference, Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson said he got a text this offseason from Jared Goff saying that wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have a huge year for the Detroit Lions. Well, Goff has seen an ascension of the league's top receivers firsthand out there in Los Angeles with former teammate Cooper Kupp. Now, Goff in the not too recent past, but we say August, I believe is when this article came out. He compared both players. These guys have the rare ability to become the number one pass catcher playing in the slot. Now, that's not really a traditional role where you have the guy who's the number one receiver playing in the slot. That's usually reserved for those guys on the outside. Now, Kupp had a couple of good seasons with Jared Goff to start off his career. First year, he had about 869 receiving yards in 16 games. He was limited in his second year with Jared Goff, missed 8 games, got 566 yards. But in year 3, had a breakout season. First 1,000-yard season, had 1,161 yards. Now, we know what the deal is. St. Brown, 912 yards in his rookie season, playing with Jared Goff, setting a Lions rookie record with 90 receptions. Now, here's a strange coincidence that I did the research and I found out that the first 1,000-yard season for Cooper Kupp and the first 1,000-yard season for Amon-Ra St. Brown was the same number of yards. St. Brown last year, his sophomore season in the league, had 1,161 yards. So you look at the ascension of what happened with Cooper Kupp out there in LA and what's going on with St. Brown with Detroit, with playing with Jared Goff. You see the the maturation process. You see this, they're syncing up. He's becoming a reliable target for Jared Goff. So St. Brown's going to do some big things. I believe that he's going to be right. Now, St. Brown became the first Lion. I talked about this in one of my Minute Hangs with Curt. He became the first Lions wide receiver since Calvin Johnson, Megatron, to earn a spot on the NFL Top 100 list. Y'all know that's voted on by the players. He came in at number 67 on the list, man. And he's working hard. Dude's a hard worker, and he inspires his teammates to do the same thing. The other day, he had Craig Reynolds stayed after practice and did his 202 jug catches. And one thing that stood out the other day is that Khalif Raymond, it was getting interviewed after practice, and he walked past Amon-Ra St. Brown walked past him during the interview, and he said, like, no matter how hard I work, I can't outwork that guy. And you look at that, and you look at the respect he's getting from his teammates, and now with players throughout the league, St. Brown is doing his thing, man, and I hope he does really good things this season and throughout his career. Man, I hope we can keep that guy in the Motor City. Now it's time for Dessert with your man, Curt, brought to you by me, of course, man. It used to be brought to you by the Life of Bites, but we ain't doing that. It's sweet bits of news and notes about the Detroit Lions. So second-year edge rushers James Houston admitted in an interview recently that he almost walked away from football. Man, can you imagine that? Said last season it was disheartening that he didn't make the initial 53-man roster, spent half the season on the practice squad. But however, he used that time on the practice squad working with players like Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker to hone his craft, man, get those pass rush skills up. So he was ready. What's that saying? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And he did his thing. He went out there. Y'all know what he did, man. 8 sacks in a short amount of time and a half a season for the Lions. Was second on the team, only behind Aiden Hutchinson, who had 9.5. But I'm glad he stayed focused and became a problem because, Houston, we have a problem instead of focusing on his own problems and quitting and walking away from the game. So that's your dessert with your man Curt for 31 July today, 31st of July, 2023. Thanks for joining me on today's episode of the Curt Steele Podcast, your trusted source for Detroit Lions news and rumors. Do me a favor, as always, man. Like the video, share the video, drop me a comment, and subscribe to the channel. For more content from your man Curt Steele, head over to curtsteele.com. Like I told you before, man, and links to all of my articles on Yardbarker Report, Yardbarker and Sideline Report are right there on the homepage. So you know what you got to do. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. This is Curt Steele, and I will holla at you real soon.